If you're trying to get pregnant, you know that feeling, right? That time after ovulation, people call it the 2-week wait. And it can be, a total mix of hope and anxiety where you're noticing every single little twinge in your body. It's just this intense period of waiting and wondering. So, that brings us to the one question everybody asks. Forget waiting for a missed period. What are the absolute earliest signs? Like, how soon can your body actually start sending you these little signals that, hey, something has happened? Okay, let's get into it. The magic number we're going to focus on in this explainer is 21 days. Yep, that's just 21 days from the start of your last period. I know it sounds unbelievably early, but believe it or not, this is when the very first, really subtle, but definite physical clues can start to show up. Now, to really get why day 21 is such a big deal, we kind of have to back up and look at the biological timeline that's happening inside your body. It's actually this beautifully precise sequence of events. Okay, so let's just walk through a typical 28 to 32-day cycle. Day 1, that's when your period starts. Then, about 2 weeks later, around day 14, that's when ovulation usually happens. Now, if that egg gets fertilized, it takes about another week to travel down and find a cozy spot to settle in. And that brings us right to our key moment, the implantation window, right around day 21. And that brings us to the very first physical thing that can actually cause noticeable symptoms: implantation. This is the moment, really, where everything changes and your body starts to react in a completely new way. So what exactly is implantation? Well, to put it simply, it's the moment that tiny fertilized embryo burrows into the cushy lining of your uterus. This is the event that officially kicks off the pregnancy and basically sends a memo to your entire body that it's time to start making some big changes. So as this little embryo is snuggling into the uterine wall, it can actually disturb some of the tiny blood vessels that are in that lining. It's this physical process that can lead to two of the earliest and probably most talked about signs of pregnancy. The first one is implantation bleeding. Now, this is where a lot of people get confused, so let's break down how to tell it apart from a regular period. Implantation bleeding is usually pink or brown, not that bright red you'd expect. And the flow is totally different. It's more like light spotting that kind of comes and goes for a day or two, not a continuous flow that gets heavier. And the second sign? Cramping. But listen, these are not your typical intense period cramps. They're usually a much milder, kind of dull ache deep in your lower abdomen. And people describe them in really specific ways, like a gentle pulling sensation, maybe a prickling feeling, or even like butterflies. It's a very unique feeling caused by all the new activity in the uterus. Okay, so once implantation is done, your body gets a brand new signal. It's like, all right, time to roll out the pregnancy hormones. And this big hormonal surge is what's responsible for a whole new wave of symptoms. Think of it like this. Implantation hits a big button, and these three key chemical messengers, estrogen, progesterone, and of course the famous pregnancy hormone, HCG, get the call. Their levels start shooting up almost right away, and it's this sudden shift that kicks off the next round of symptoms. All right, this is a big one. The difference between PMS and pregnancy symptoms, especially with your breasts. So many women get tender breasts before a period, right? But early pregnancy often feels different. The sensitivity can be way more intense, especially around the nipples. And here's the real giveaway. With pregnancy, you might actually see physical changes. Your nipples might look a bit darker, maybe wider, or you might notice these little bumps appearing. PMS rarely, if ever, does that. And yeah, those same hormones, estrogen and progesterone, they have a really powerful effect on your brain chemistry too. This can lead to these mood swings that feel like they come out of absolutely nowhere. You might find yourself tearing up at a commercial one minute and then feeling totally fine the next. It's a direct physical reaction to that hormonal roller coaster. Okay, so beyond those first implantation signs and the hormonal shifts, your body is sending out a few other key signals. Let's run through a few more of the classic signs that can pop up right around this time. First up, fatigue. And I'm not talking about just feeling a little tired. This is a deep, can't keep your eyes open kind of exhaustion. And why? Well, because your body is suddenly working in overdrive, building a whole new life support system for that tiny embryo. That takes a massive amount of energy. You also might find yourself running to the bathroom way more often. This actually happens for two reasons. First, you've got more blood flowing through your body, so your kidneys are working harder to filter everything. And second, even this early, your uterus is already starting to expand, putting a little bit of pressure on your bladder. And then, of course, there's the one we all know, nausea. Now, at day 21, it's usually not full-on morning sickness yet. It's more of a general feeling of queasiness, like your stomach just feels a little off. That feeling can be one of the earliest clues, and it's driven by those rising HCG levels. So you've been noticing some of these things around day 21. What now? It can be super exciting, but it's also really important to know the right next steps to go from just a suspicion to actually being certain. Okay, and I know this is the hardest part, but the most important piece of advice at this stage is patience. As tempting as it is to run out and test right away, these symptoms are just early clues. The single most reliable sign you can wait for is still a missed period, because that's when the hormone levels are high enough to really get a clear result. So here's the simple game plan. Step 1, wait until the day your period is actually supposed to start and doesn't. Step 2, the very next day, take a home pregnancy test. And step 3, you're looking for those 2 lines for a positive result. That simple process is really the most reliable way to confirm things at home.
And this is probably the biggest takeaway of all. It is so fascinating to learn about these day 21 signs, and yeah, they can absolutely be strong indicators. But you have to remember, they're just clues. They're not a diagnosis. Everybody is different. The only way to know for sure is to wait and take that test.
So as we wrap this up, think about it like this. We've talked about cramping, fatigue, nausea, all of it. But if you had to point to the one single hormone that's acting like the conductor of this entire orchestra of early pregnancy symptoms, the one that's telling your body a whole new chapter has begun, which one would it be? Yup, it's HCG. That's the master signal that changes everything.